Hello my friends, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the latest release of Komorebi, the tiling window manager for Windows, which is written in the Rust programming language. The release we're going to be looking at today is version 0.1.34, and if this is your first time joining us for one of these release overview videos, what we do is go through some of the more notable commits here in the changelog to give you a better idea of what you can expect when you upgrade to this version. As usual, we're going to start with some public service announcements. First is to make sure that you keep the applications.json file up to date. It is really easy to do this. All you have to do is go into your terminal and type komorebic fetch-asc. It is going to get the latest version of this applications.json file, and this file contains like 3,000, almost 3,000 lines of fixes for common applications. It will make more and more applications just work the way they're supposed to. So get in the habit of doing that every week or so, definitely alongside every update. But yeah, try and do that every week or so, because this gets updated fairly regularly. Whenever we find an application behaving badly, we figure out the rules for it, we push them here, and you can get the latest version of those rules independently of new Komorebi releases. So that is PSA number 1. Number 2, I wanted to give some very special recognition to Alex DS13 and CtByte. If you've been looking at the commits and the changelogs, and if you're on the Discord, you know that these two people are amazingly active. They've been doing so much great work and really raising the bar on this project. Thank you both so much. And in recognition of the incredible work that both Alex and CtByte have been doing, they have been granted lifetime commercial use licenses that are valid for life. And they're complimentary, they're free, and they're in recognition of just the amazing work that they have done. Thank you both so much. I appreciate it so much, and I know the whole community really appreciates it so very much. Number 3, talking about licensing, we need to talk a little bit about the licensing early on in the video, I've noticed, because people kind of click away towards the end of the videos when I've been talking about licensing before. So let's look at some numbers. So the last version of Komorebi, version 0.1.33, had over 7,000 downloads. And if you go back and look through all of the release stats, we can probably infer that there are around 10 to 20,000 users of Komorebi across all of the different versions. If you are one of these people and you are using Komorebi at work, you do need to purchase a commercial use license. The Komorebi license does not permit any kind of commercial use. That includes using Komorebi at work. You need a dedicated individual commercial use license to use Komorebi at work. Most companies reimburse you for licenses, and really, if you go this route, what you're doing is you're helping to redistribute hoarded wealth from corporations to independent developers like me. Currently, there are 22 of you who have purchased a Komorebi individual use license, individual commercial use license, and thank you all so much. I appreciate it so much. It's amazing. We are 2 months in to the sale of these licenses, and 22 is going from 0 to 1 is very hard. Going from 0 to 22 in 2 months is incredible. My goal for the end of the year. So let me put this at you. if 1,000 of you, so that's roughly, depending on, the numbers of the install base, if 1 out of 10 of you, or 1 out of 15 of you, or 1 out of 20 of you purchase a commercial use license, I would be able to go part-time at my day job, and that means I would be able to spend dedicated time every week to maintaining and improving Komorebi, and I'd be able to start the work of porting it to other operating systems. I would love to make this a reality by the end of 2025, so that is my goal for 2025, to be able to have 1,000 of you on the individual commercial use license if you're using it at work. So let's make it happen. I believe, all right? I believe in the goodness of this community. If you are using Komorebi at work, please get a license and let's make it happen. All right, that is all of the public service announcements out of the way. So we will begin. I guess we should begin with the notes. So there is a fix in this release which changes previously undefined behavior, which some of you may have unknowingly come to rely on. So focus workspace and related commands no longer forcibly focus the monitor at the cursor position before being executed. So if you were someone who had mouse follows focus off, I know this drove you all absolutely crazy. Wherever your mouse was, if you hit focus workspace, it would forcibly change the focus to that monitor, and then it would execute focus workspace. So you'd be changing workspace wherever the cursor was, which is not necessarily where your currently focused window was. And I know some of you have come to rely on that. If you still want this behavior going forward, what you should do is this: in your whkd RC or in your auto hotkey config or whatever, just make sure you chain these two commands together. So focus monitor at cursor and then focus workspace. So that is the notes out of the way. I think it was the user Inspiral that brought this up. Thank you for bringing this up and for prompting me to add this to the release notes. The last thing I want to do is break things for anybody. We go to very, what's the word I'm looking for? We go to lengths. We go to lengths to ensure that we don't break the config, but sometimes there is undefined behavior which is not part of the config, which may get changed. I try to minimize this as much as possible, but if ever that does happen, it should be right at the top of the release notes, and it will definitely be in these videos, so keep an eye out for these notes in future releases too. Alrighty, let me have a look at my notes. So we have some features on the window manager, and we have some features on the bar, and we have a couple of upcoming features that I want to preview as well. So let's start with window manager features. First up on my list, I have stable monitor hardware IDs. So some of you, especially those of you who have multiple monitors, will be familiar with this command, komorebic monitor info. Most of you will have been going by this, the device ID. And until now, this was the closest to a stable ID that we could find. This part that I'm highlighting was always stable, but this part, the unique ID, this could, in rare situations, change. And particularly, it may have changed when plugging a monitor back into a different port on your display device on your graphics card or your monitor hub, or whatever you're using. It didn't always, but it could sometimes, and it was a real pain in the butt. Now, after 2.5, maybe even 3 years of figuring out how to get a stable hardware ID for every single monitor, we are here. So now in monitor info, the serial number ID is the unique hardware identifier for your display. And this means that even if you have 2, 3, 4 of the same device that has the same identifier, in my case Dell 4310, they will all have a unique and static serial number ID that you can use to reference in your display index preferences. That is, for me, like, this is the coolest thing. Like, this has been my white whale, the thing that I've been searching for so long. I was very happy to finally be able to say, yes, we have static hardware IDs for monitors in Komorebi. Cool. That is cool thing number 1. And if you're interested in seeing how that came to be, it is... which one is it? So many commits. It's one of these commits, anyway. Next up, we have floating color for Windows borders. So there are 2 types of borders, right? There are these fancy, thick, width adjustable Komorebi borders, or you can set the native thin Windows borders. There was a bug, I guess, where if you were using those thin native Windows borders, it would not give you a separate border color for floating windows. So let me make this floating. You see I have a separate color here, this yellowy color that is derived from my theme. This would not get applied if you were using the Windows border implementation. But now it does. Thanks to Amin for pointing that out. I never use those borders, so I wouldn't have figured that out, that was missing. Speaking of floating windows, we now have custom aspect ratios for floating windows. So when you toggle like this, before it would, like, a lot of people were not happy with how it was before, right? So why don't I open up the config and we can do this in real time? That's right, we're gonna do it in real time and hope that it doesn't blow up in my face. All right, so let's bring this to the middle. So now we have this new config option, floating window aspect ratio. And you can have, oh my god, my phone is in the way of my keyboard. Right, so now you can have standard, ultra wide, or widescreen. I think it would default to widescreen before, so let's see. Yeah, it would be like this, and people did not like that at all. They're like, this is way too wide, I don't like it, blah blah blah. But some people were like, it's not wide enough, I have an ultra wide and I want it to be super duper ultra wide. And like, yeah, they wanted it to be like this. And some people were like, my guy, can you please just give me something a little more standard? Can you please? Can you even? And so this is for those people. Yeah, check it out. It's pretty cool. Hopefully there is something for everybody in there. Next up, we have window container behavior rules. And what this allows you to do is set a maximum number of window containers for a workspace. So I have them here on my personal workspace, and for 0 or more containers, when you open up a new window, a new container will be created, right? So if I don't know, if I open up Edge, you can see here it created a new container. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. If I open up another one now, it is going to append that window onto whatever the focused container is. So I'm gonna, let me put, I don't know, Google on here, and I'm gonna hit new. And you can see it added that window onto the stack. And it doesn't just have to be that specific window. Like if I open up a new Z window, I don't even know how to open up a new Z window. I know how to open up new tabs. How does one open a new Z window? File, new, shift and new. There you go. So it's basically making it so that you can only ever have the configured number of containers until it starts appending. And a lot of people have asked me in the past, like, hey, how can I have a maximum number of windows on my workspace? This is how you do it, right? And if ever you open more, they will be stacked. And when you're done with them, like you can just close them. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I hope that the people who have been looking for a way to restrict the number of window containers on a workspace will be happy with this. Next on my bullet points, I have various bug fixes. As we have already seen, I'm not very good at just picking them out. So let's see, window manager, set default hiding behavior to cloak. I think Inspiral, contributed this. It was a little bug in the code. The doc said one thing, the code was doing another. So now the hiding behavior is defaulting to cloak. Very nice. Avoid focus loop with floating windows. Always preserve resize on monocle toggle. I believe this was a ticket from K. Candon, who... This was actually a really interesting edge case. I'm not going to get too deep into it in this video, but I fixed it. If you had this problem, you won't have this problem anymore. It only impacts you it only impacted you when you had a specific number of windows open and then you went to monocle mode. Reap invisible windows. Another day, another stupid hack, because this fixed a thing. Don't worry about the commit message. It fixed a thing. If you're using Office, you know. Invisible windows will not be haunting you anymore. Damn, should I keep going into the commit messages? Sometimes I do get just a little bit frustrated with some of the apps. I think this is most of them, most of the interesting ones. This whole like edge case handling these days, because it's such a mature and relatively stable product now that it's just stamping out edge cases. So let's move on to the bar. So the bar now has support for Korean, Japanese, and Chinese characters. Chinese language website. I'm trying to find... Oh my god, I hate the Google. Just Google, why don't you know that? Okay. Yes, I was able to get some Chinese characters. So yeah, you can see that they are now displaying correctly here. Let's see if Thai language characters... yeah, like Google, if I'm saying Thai language characters or Thai language website, can you please just... There's not a single Thai language website here. They're all English. Are there any? I just need one freaking... Just take my word for it. CtByte contributed this. Thai characters now show properly. What else do we have on the bar? Oh, we have this very nice new keyboard language widget here. If you have multiple keyboards and you want to know which one is focused, this one will tell you which one is focused. This was a really cool piece of work by a new contributor. Keyboard. This is it. Add keyboard language widget. And this was contributed by David from Singapore. Thank you so much, David. This is really, really cool. I hope you also enjoy the new CJK font fallbacks that we just demonstrated. The clock has seen some improvements. So CtByte is a very big fan of the binary clock format, which I had not heard about before. But now, this is the binary clock, by the way, in the top right. If you can read this, you can now set this as your clock, and there are actually 2 formats to this. I guess this is the hour, this is the minute, this is the second. I still cannot read it, but if you like this, you can now set this as your default clock on the komorebi bar. We have a bug fix, a notable bug fix. There were many notable bug fixes on the bar, but this is one that is, I guess, a little more user-facing. And it is that hide empty workspace as a config option. It won't trigger on workspaces that have floating windows anymore. So this used to be a problem where if you had hide empty workspaces and you had a workspace that only had floating windows, it would be treated as an empty workspace. And here is the commit. Consider all window types when hiding empty workspace. So this commit ensures that floating windows, monocle containers, and maximize windows will all be considered when the hide empty workspaces option is enabled for the komorebi widget. So if that was bugging you before, hopefully it should not bug you anymore. The config is now simplified, drastically, radically simplified. There is a whole commit that you can read on this. Here it is, simplify komorebi bar config. Definitely read through it. Like, your existing config will work completely as normal, but if you do want to simplify, and this will already be simplified for new users who go through the quick start, you can get it up. You can take a quick look at mine. So now you just set the monitor, you set the height, you set the margin, and like that's it. Like, there's no other crazy stuff. And then, you can set whatever you want for the widgets. But this bit up here that used to be quite complex has been radically simplified. Do go and check that out. If you have more questions about this, read through this commit, simplify komorebi bar config, or reach out on the Discord. I think that is it for the new stuff I wanted to cover in the 0.1.34 release. Now I want to spend a little bit of time walking you through some things that I think are particularly cool in the upcoming release. Now, all of these things are currently on the nightly release. Where is that? Here we are, komorebi nightly. This is released every Saturday. It takes a couple of days to get into Winget, but once it's in there, you can use it. You can also build from source, all of that good stuff. There's so much stuff in here already. There's like an insane amount of work that has been done by Alex on improving multi-monitor handling. It just works now. It's really, really good. I am not one of the people who uses komorebi with multiple monitors regularly, so I'm glad that there is somebody who has that setup, who has that use case, who has been willing to dive deep and improve multi-monitor handling for everyone. If you've had any multi-monitor issues, check out the nightly, drop into the Discord. Most, if not all, of your issues should be solved with this nightly release. And this, of course, will be in the upcoming 0.1.35 release. We have another new feature. So you may have noticed on my bar, I have this new little widget here that says tiling. Oh, this is really exciting, huh? So why don't I open up my config again? Why don't I open up an Edge window again? So I am going to hit Alt and T to make this a floating window. And you can see here that this widget has changed to floating. What does that mean? Well, that means now if I hit the move hotkeys, I am moving the position of this floating window. So now we have this concept of the floating layer, and I'm going to hit the hotkey to switch back to the tiling layer. And so now my hotkeys work for tiling. And then I can hit it again to bring the floating windows back. So why don't we get a couple more of these? So I'm going to have 2 floating windows now. And I can now cycle backwards and forwards through my floating windows. I can also go back to my tiled windows and move them around. I can switch workspaces and come back. I can see that I'm on the tiling layer. Maybe I want to be back on the floating layer, and I want to go to this window, and I want to move it around. But maybe, hold on. Maybe I want to resize. Maybe I want to make it a little taller. Maybe I want to make it a little wider. But look, it respects the dimensions of the monitor and the workspace. It also respects the, how do I do that? The vertical bounds on the monitor as well. I'm super excited for this. There are still a couple of things that we need to iron out, but it's looking really good. I'm super excited for it. Definitely something to look forward to in the next release. Let me also preview. I'm just going to stop whkd and I'm going to run it on the foreground. So I'm running whkd, and now I can hit pause, and you can see now both komorebi and whkd have been paused. And this means that I have all of my hotkeys back, right? And I'm not going to get any clashes, so this is very useful. I can unpause, and it will toggle both. Also very cool. And if I open up very quickly my whkdrc file, you can see now that there are 2 new directives here. One is a special directive for a pause hotkey, so this will pause whkd. However, there is this optional pause hook which will trigger an extra command whenever you toggle pause. So this is optional. You can just pause whkd if you want. You don't have to also pause komorebi. But you can run a shell, not a shell script, a PowerShell script here. It's very flexible. This is something else that is coming up that I'm quite excited about. What else? There is one more. Where is it? Add toggle window based work area offset. This is the one. So somebody said, hey, Jeezy, it is really cool that you have this command which lets you, whoa, what happened there? Oh my god. What happened? What happened? Oh no. Oh no. Well, that wasn't great. Let's open a new terminal. There we go. I have no idea what happened there. If anyone knows what happened there, please tell me. So anyway, somebody said, hey, it's really cool that you have this configuration option where you can have a different offset on the sides of your workspace if you only have a single window open. But like sometimes I don't want that. Like sometimes I do want this extra padding on the sides on a workspace, but sometimes on that same workspace I want to toggle it off, right? So that is why we have now this command, toggle window-based work area offset. So if I run this, it is going to toggle that off and I'll have the full width of my work area, and then I can toggle it back on. So, you know, a little more flexibility. So those are the features that are coming up. I think they are pretty freaking cool features, and I hope you look forward to them. If you'd like to test drive them, grab the nightly release and give me some feedback. Give me some feedback in the Discord. The link to the Discord is here. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for all the videos, all of the good stuff. And yeah, before we go, I'm going to give a shout out to all of the sponsors of the project. Thank you to Azine, thank you to Sandeep, thank you David, Chris, Timothy, James, Pavel, Felipe, Private Sponsor 1, Manus Cash. I think you are a new sponsor. Welcome. Private Sponsor 2, Private Sponsor 3. We have so many private sponsors now. Thank you to Andrew, Eli, Johan, Cody, Nia. Private Sponsor number 4. Nauti, also I believe a new sponsor. Welcome. Ivan, maybe also a new sponsor. Welcome. Dimitri X2K, Kyle. I'm not sure if it's just a new profile picture or a new sponsor, but welcome. Alex, of course. Eber, Chris, Purian, had to get the pronunciation right. Harold, PJHFGGIJ, Hyro, DM1681, Darian, Steve J, new sponsor, welcome. Kilroy, my boy, Evan, Nicholas, Alex, Solomon, and of course the OG, the original sponsor, my friend Hisayuki Mima from Tokyo, Japan. Thank you all so much for your support. It means a great deal. If you are a personal user of Komorebi, you find it valuable, please do consider becoming a one-time or a monthly sponsor. It means a great deal. You get these shoutouts, you get the roles from the server. There's not that much stuff, but you know, you get to be one of the few. You get to be a member of the peoplehood of the sponsors. Alright, my friends, that is it. I'm actually out of time because I am going to a solo jazz dance class, which starts in 15 minutes, and it takes me 10 minutes to walk there, and I have like 5 minutes to get ready. So anyway, I'm wrapping this up. I hope you enjoyed the release. If you're using Komorebi at work, please do buy the individual commercial use license, drop by the Discord, hit like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. Thank you all so much. I appreciate all of the support, all of the love. Sorry I haven't been making as many videos. I will make more videos. I hope you're all good. I hope you're all having a great year. I hope that whatever you all do today, you have a great, great day. Free Palestine, and I'll see you all back here next time.